15 years after construction began. With a capacity to carry up to 14 passengers per trip, it completes the journey in approximately 1.5 minutes.
Farmers in Cyprus are threatening protests due measures taken in response to the outbreak of foot and mouth disease in February. The newly formed Cyprus Livestock Association said it is ready to take strong action even if financial aid is approved, unless authorities reconsider their aggressive strategy of containing the epidemic. The association argued that European rules also allow for alternative approaches to managing the crisis. A government spokesperson, however, insisted that the response must strictly follow EU veterinary protocols and cannot be subject to political pressure. The measures are based on stamping out of infected and in-contact herds. EU control measures require the rapid eradication of the virus through the immediate stamping out of infected establishments. As a result, control measures may also apply to animals that appear healthy or for which test results may not yet be available in order to prevent further spread of the disease. The outbreak has so far led to the culling of more than 38,000 sheep and goats, more than 2,000 cattle and 21,500 pigs.
A new patient arrives at the hospital, a rather unusual patient since it is a wild animal, a very young female fox found alone without its mother.
Donc là, on a un tout petit renard qui doit avoir 2 semaines, qui a été trouvé dans le jardin d'une dame.
Taken in by the teams at the Wildlife Hospital on the grounds of the National Veterinary School, the young fox is being examined.
Elle n'est pas en hypothermie, elle n'est pas déshydratée, donc elle est relativement stable quand même, et voilà.
Last year, more than 10,400 wild animals were treated here, including many European mammals such as foxes, deers and hedgehogs. The animals often arrive young between April and September after their birth. The caretaker's goal to prepare them for return to the wild.
Une fois qu'ils auront atteint un poids qu'on estime convenable, ils seront transférés dans le centre de réhabilitation jusqu'à ce qu'ils soient vraiment assez grands pour passer dans un enclos de relâché progressif.
Non-invasive species are not released. Between 60 and 80% of the animals that arrive here are victims of human activities such as road collisions.
Donc dans un sens, on a une responsabilité à aussi prendre en charge ces animaux qui se retrouvent ici dans la majorité des cas à cause de nous. Donc de leur offrir une seconde chance, un espace de soins.
The veterinary hospital is managed by the Faune Alpha Association, which was founded nearly 40 years ago. It primarily operates thanks to donations and the work of volunteers.
Ron Arad is one of the most important figures in contemporary design who has never stopped experimenting with form, materials and their functionality. The solo exhibition Ron Arad 1992-2026 at the Opera Gallery in Monaco spans 35 years of the creative journey of the 75-year-old British-Israeli artist through a series of his iconic works.
I have a studio and it's like a progressive kindergarten. It is driven by curiosity, and we are very privileged that we can try everything that we want, and it's from very little things, from jewelry to skyscrapers. We designed tall building, designed a hospital, a museum, and small objects, and there's no need to define exactly what we do. We do things that we are interested in, and lucky other people are interested in what we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to survive. And the key element is things that I'm excited to explore, to sketch, to talk about, to model, to develop, to build, and to see, like here in this exhibition, there are pieces that I made 30 years ago or more.
Known for his radical approach, Arad challenges the boundaries between art, architecture and industrial design.
You know, to design or to make art is always a symbiosis between the will of the artist, the process, and what the materials will let you do and what happens. There's no bad materials and there's no bad colors. They're all good, depends what you do with them. People always ask you, where do you get ideas from? Ideas are the easiest thing in the world. There's no shortage of ideas. The difficulty is to know which ideas you give your time to, which ideas you invest in, and which ideas you just let go.
The exhibition run around 1992-2026 at the Opera Gallery in Monaco is presented as part of the Principality's Art Week and runs until May 28th.
Stay connected to the expanding Iran war with live updates from Euronews correspondents across the Middle East on Euronews and Euronews.com.
A blue, a red, a yellow, an opening, a path, a corner, a square, a ghost, a castle, a king, a princess, a queen, a fiesta, a secret, a life, a here, a now, and a question. Region of Valencia.
For a global weather forecast and daily air quality index, connect to euronews.com/weather.
Want to be inspired? Start your sensory journey with the Euronews Culture newsletter. Sign up now on euronews.com/newsletters. Delivered every week to your inbox.
Welcome to Euronews.
La Commissionspräsidentin hat
La Commission européenne a fixé
se consolida.
Il Parlamento europeo
Para um novo fundo social.
We are Euronews. We live in the cities of Europe. In Athens and Rome, Berlin and Paris, Warsaw and Budapest, Lisbon and Madrid, London and Istanbul, Lyon and Brussels.
Welcome to Euronews Brussels.
We speak the many languages of Europe, English and French, German and Italian, Spanish and Polish, Portuguese, Hungarian and Greek. And those of our neighbours, Turkish, Farsi, Russian and Arabic.
With more than 100 million monthly TV viewers and more than 1 billion page views, we are the voice of Europe.
And of Europeans.
Good morning, I'm Maeve McMahon, and you're watching Europe Today. Maria today, who actually has not slept a wink. Sasha, lovely to see you here. Good morning, Stefan.
Good morning,
Thank you so
Maeve.
much for being with us. What is up for discussion today?
We are shaping up for a very difficult EU summit.
Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon on Euronews.
Euronews. The headlines.
The United States said it will pause its mission to escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz, citing that progress had been made on the peace deal.
France's political left say they want to create a real union and hold primaries to decide on a candidate amid discontent with Jean-Luc Mélenchon's announced bid for president.
At least 26 people were killed in Russian strikes across Ukraine on Tuesday as President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned Moscow's utter cynicism.
Romania's pro-European coalition government collapsed after lawmakers voted in favor of a no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Ilie Bolojan.
Did the Netherlands vote against making illegal immigrants illegal? Dutch social media users and activists claim that the country's Senate has rejected a proposed law that would have made residing in the Netherlands illegally illegal. The Senate did recently throw out a bill designed by the far-right populist PVV party to take a harder line on illegal immigration, but the narrative suggests a major legal reversal. The Cube spoke to experts who said that framing the bill in such a way was an oversimplification and that the devil is in the details. Living in the Netherlands without a valid permit has long been classified as illegal or irregular under administrative migration law. The proposal devised by PVV and rejected by the Senate would have criminalised illegal residents, moving it into the realm of criminal law. But voting down the bill doesn't mean that undocumented migrants are suddenly legal either. They still face consequences such as detention and deportation, but under administrative law as they did before, rather than being given a criminal record. Critics of the proposed law celebrated its rejection because advisory bodies said that it would have made it a criminal offence to help or support any illegal immigrants. NGOs and churches rallied against this provision, with some detractors arguing that even volunteers in soup kitchens could be accused of being complicit in a crime. Justice Minister David Van Wiel attempted to amend the bill to include a humanitarian clause, which said that acts of charity would not be punishable. The amendment lost by a vote and ultimately led to the law's downfall. The PVV party accused the government of trying to water it down. Centrist and religious parties, meanwhile, refused to support it unless the humanitarian clause was in there. In the end, the bill didn't fail because the Senate wanted to be soft on illegal immigration, but because politicians couldn't agree on where the line between a border policy and a bowl of soup should be drawn.
Sexual violence and rape offences are rising in the EU. In 2024, police recorded more than 256,000 sexual violence offences in the EU, 38% of which were rape offences. This is according to the latest Eurostat figures. Compared with 2023, sexual violence offences increased by 5% and rape by 7%. The figures came out just after the European Parliament voted to back a common consent-based definition of rape known as only yes means yes. Prior to this, the EU adopted minimum standards to combat violence against women for the first time in 2024. However, a proposed article to create a common definition of rape was dropped after opposition from several member states. While the push for an EU-wide consent-based definition of rape shows that the bloc is serious about tackling the crime, data shows an upward trend in sexual violence and rape offences over the past decade. Between 2014 and 2024, sexual violence offences jumped by 94% and rape offences by 150%. During this period, sexual violence offences increased continuously by nearly 10% annually on average, and rape offences by 7%. Nevertheless, an increase in the number of police-recorded sexual violence offences can suggest greater awareness and better measures to combat sexual abuse, impacting reporting rates.
Welcome to Istanbul. We are here to explore all things luxury in this iconic Turkish city. True sophistication stands out because it's rooted in culture. And what better place to start than in Nişantaşı, one of the city's most elegant neighborhoods. Istanbul straddles Europe and Asia, and each side has its own unique charm. I'm starting my visit on the European side, and Nişantaşı is the place to be for the fashionable crowd. But there's more to the city than modern luxury. Jeweler Sevan Becakçı draws on Istanbul's rich heritage in his work. Known as the King of Rings, his creations blend Ottoman and Eastern Roman influences through exceptional craftsmanship. Each piece is one of a kind, often taking months to create. His rare approach is recognized at the highest level of fine jewelry.
Biz öyle bir noktaya geldik ki el işçiliği yapılmaz hale geldiği bir noktada biz hala yıllar evvelki geleneksel yapılmış şeylerle, şekillerle üretiyor olmamız bizi farklı kılar hale geldi.
Each of his creations tells a story, and wearing one of them feels like a rare privilege.
Bütün hayatımı şekillendiren, bütün mücevher kariyerimi şekillendiren yer bu topraklar diyebilirim. Yani benim görmüş olduğum tüm memleketimin güzelliklerini bugünkü şartlarla, bugünkü modernlikle yorumlamış halimdir.
Designers like Becakçı show how Istanbul's luxury scene is evolving, not by leaving tradition behind, but by reinventing it. The same approach can be seen across the city. Along the Bosphorus Strait, the Chirahan Palace revives Istanbul's imperial past. Walking through these halls, the elegance of the Ottoman Empire is unmistakable. Today, that history still shines through in the hotel's design and atmosphere. Once home to sultans, this palace has been transformed into the city's most iconic luxury hotel. Inside, its grand halls, a historic hammam, and waterfront suites reflect centuries of royal heritage. And what stands out is how these elements are included today through small, careful gestures and hospitality that feels both refined and connected to the past. In Istanbul, traditions can also take the form of rituals. I've come to explore this at the Zeyrek Cinili Hammam, where architecture and well-being come together.